Happy Friday, St. Francis in the field. This is Father Justin here with your Friday finale. Food truck party on a roll with God starts next week. Our VBS is a food truck theme. And if you think about it, you might be going, what's food trucks got to do with VBS? Well, let me tell you. Think about John's gospel when Jesus says, I am the bread of life, the living bread, the Eucharist, bread and wine. God takes the ordinary and comes to us and turns it into something that feeds not just our souls, but our bodies. And French fries and ketchup feed our bodies, and it's delicious. So the kids are going to learn about what feeds their soul, what feeds their body, and how powerful God is in their life. And that's next week. So I want to let you know a couple things as I sneak out of these decorations here, that when you come to the office next week, if you come on campus, please be mindful there'll be kids everywhere. We have 155 children coming to VBS next week. So do know that if you come to the office, Jenny, our new office admin, will be there to greet you, but try to limit your traffic to just the office next week. There is decor everywhere, and it's just one of those special times in the year that we have to really kind of put everything else around Vacation Bible School, because this, in a really small but important way, is what the gospel and what our discipleship's all about. Which brings me to the third part in our vestry committee learning moment for the week. The Great Commission Committee, the Great Mystery Committee, the Great whatever. So the Great Commission Committee is based off of the Great Commission in Matthew 28. Go, therefore, and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and the Holy Spirit. That vestry committee's sole purpose exists to connect the vestry to our outreach ministries, our evangelism or greeters, welcome ministries, and our Cuba ministry. All three of those have expenditures. So remember, the vestry's basic function, if they did nothing else, is fiduciary. So those three subcommittees, Cuba, outreach, and evangelism welcome, all have expenditures. And the Great Commission Committee's job is to relay those back to the vestry. But it's more than that. They're also there to listen and as the vestry casts a vision and a plan about how we want to live out our ministry, they are to interpret that back and support the work of those three committees and help them help the church and the vestry whom you elect live into that. They're not there to micromanage those three committees, but at times they have to speak pretty boldly and bluntly to those committees to say, hey, that's a great idea. This is where we're headed. And that's what they do. And it's part of becoming, all of this is part of becoming a program church. And let me just pause here for a quick second and explain what that looks like. Churches that have an average Sunday attendance of 100 to 120 are, 100 or less are considered family churches. What does that mean? There's a few matriarchs, patriarchs, sometimes it's two families that run the church. They might be the biggest givers, they support the funds of the church. When you get above 120, it's known as a pastoral church. It's very priest-driven. The church depends on the priest to literally tell them what to do, as if the priest is a drill sergeant. And that continues all the way up to about 180. And then you enter into this phase called transitional. Transitional is where you start learning to be a program. That's where y'all were when I came last year. And then when you get over 225 on a Sunday attendance, you end up into what's known as a program church. And we're actually burgeoning onto what's known as an executive church, but we're organizationally still learning how to be a program church. And that's where all these committees come into play. Are they perfect? No. They have the right idea, they have the right mission, and over the next year or two, we'll be learning. We'll be learning how to do this better and together in all the little subcommittees. Just a way to organize our work, because there is now a lot more moving parts. Centered, it has to be lay-centered. So that's your tidbit for today, your vestry tidbit. VBS next week. I'll see you Sunday, Father's Day. Love everybody. Have a great rest of your week.